Anna, are these two older people okay? Has there been any signs of an adverse reaction?
Look, Ash, not at the moment. We did hear from the CEO of the Holy Spirit Aged Care Facility a short time ago. He says that the 88-year-old man who received 4 times the prescribed dose of the Pfizer vaccine is in hospital. The 94-year-old woman, who was the second patient to have the same thing happen, she's currently under observation here at the facility. They're showing no signs of any adverse reactions yet, but they are being very closely monitored. The CEO of this facility says that they're not out of the woods yet. It has been very distressing for them. Now, echoing that outrage is the Queensland Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk. She has taken to Twitter. She has written on Twitter that today I will write to the Prime Minister asking him to convene National Cabinet as soon as possible. I want to know what training is provided to the people the federal government is employing to administer the vaccines in our aged care facilities. Now, of course, that is because the federal government is in charge of the rollout here. We did hear, as I mentioned, from the CEO, who shed some light into exactly what had happened. Now, the federal government had contracted Healthcare Australia. It was a doctor that worked for Healthcare Australia that was here yesterday starting to administer these doses. They'd only given it to these initial 2 patients before a nurse saw what was going on and stepped in and told him to stop. Now, that doctor has been stood down. The CEO of the facility here wants to see him referred to the appropriate regulators. He spoke of the distress this has caused a short time ago.
This incident's been very distressing to us, to our residents and to their family, and it's also very concerning. It's caused us to question whether some of the clinicians given the job of administering the vaccine have received the appropriate training.
Now, it remains to be seen whether that National Cabinet meeting is going to happen early. It is worth noting it is scheduled for next Friday anyway, but certainly the Premier and other bodies are outraged over this. We also heard from the Federal Health Minister, Greg Hunt. He says that this has been a serious breach of protocol.
But it was a very serious breach in terms of following the protocol. Our advice is that both doses were administered consecutively, and as a consequence of that, the nurse, and we say thank you for her strength of character and alertness, stepped in immediately.
Now, just in relation to that request for a National Cabinet update, federal government sources have told Sky News that the Prime Minister will wait to receive that letter from the Premier Annastacia Palaszczuk. It's not looking likely at the moment that that urgent Cabinet meeting will be held, but certainly authorities at a federal and state level are communicating to find out exactly what's happened, what training has been given as we enter just the initial days, really, of the rollout of the vaccines across Australia.